Good morning, everybody. Chris from TGIK Games here, and we're going to pick up where we left off yesterday. We had gotten through the two main things I wanted to accomplish with this game, which are players get to play cards on both sides, and when you are playing a card for one side, you give action points to the other side. And then the other thing I wanted to get through was the idea of group spread, where there's a third party and it's growing. We also got to where we had a rough idea of a theme, but as I was thinking about it last night, I realized that if you have two different races, it's going to be really difficult to act on both sides. So we're going to have to do something like maybe players are natives to a planet and two races have landed on your planet, and you have to help them. Actually, let's make these notes. So, where are we? Two races have landed on your planet, and you could, and players are going between each side. It could also be one race that's having a civil war. It could be that, and that's really my main concern at that point. Let's see. What else? Oh, I need to think of... So, when I was working on other things yesterday, I was making notes along the way. So, this is just... I'm going to have a notes section at the bottom. In this case, I need to think of a reasonable way to work on both sides. So, let's talk this through. And we may not stick with this theme, but it's at least going to guide the conversation a little bit. Somebody lands on your planet. They don't have any goods, they don't have any buildings, they don't have anything. They just got their ships with them. And they're going to start a battle. I don't think I need to overthink this one. I think the reasonability is you're just walking in between the two. And we could even go as simple as... something else I was thinking is that when a player swaps sides, that's when creep gets to play a card. I feel like, okay, when a player swaps side, I think the question becomes, what do we want to make the focus of the game? Do we want creep to be the focus? Do we want the playing of both cards on both sides to be the focus? Do we want the main mechanic of action points, giving action points to the other side to be the focus? Do we want the metagame to be the focus? And I think the answer to that question is, I don't know. That'll present itself in the first playtest. Let's see. Creep, main mechanic. Playing on both sides. Other. And then this will present. Okay. So then the question becomes, what do we need to make a prototype of this game? We need actions. So let's start a to-do list. Players need actions. Are we going to use... There will be cards. Will there be cubes on the board? I know there will be cubes for action points. Or cubes or tokens. I don't know what yet. Tokens. I'm thinking at this point that if I play a card on side A. Oh wait, I was thinking if I play a card on side A, then side B would take points. You would have to have two different color actions. And then is there actually, hold on, is there one, did I say there's one spot where players are going to, basically the idea is if there's one spot for players to play cards, so we always know you would play a card and it would get resolved, and if there was a race to beat somebody with an action, you would have a tiebreaker whose card was on the pile first. What I don't know is, did I make note of that, or was that a different game I was thinking of last night? Because I don't know if I said in the last video, but we don't have a main project for TGIK Games right now, which means I have to find one, which means I'm on constant thinking of game mode, or thinking of games mode. No, I don't see anything in here for that note. No. General notes, points. When a player swaps sides, creep gets to play a card. That's what we're doing right now. I don't think there is. To-do list. Okay, cubes on the board. 2 different color actions. Here's my problem with this. How many bits is this going to have? And we have just met our first production question, or footprint question. Call it what you want, but how big is the game going to be on the table? How much is it going to cost to make all the bits and bobs? If you're just designing a game, then there's 2 schools of thought here. If you're designing and plan to publish a game, then these are things that you should worry about right now, at least in my opinion. If you are planning just to, then there's the other school of thought, and I subscribe to both, so call me a hypocrite, call me what you want, but it is what it is. Just design the game, design it as big as you want it to be, and then worry about cutting things later on. And I think I do a hybrid approach where I'm going to build this as big as I need to build it, but I'm aware that there are cost things involved, so I know it won't come as a surprise later to me when we realize, oh hey, we've built a game that's $65 and we think it's better at a $45 price range. Where can we start making some cuts? Okay, so we know we're going to have cards, cubes on the board. That's in question. Do we need a board? I always lean to no, but we make a lot of card games. Well, do we make a lot of card games? Priests has a board in it. Actually, let's check out what we've got over here. That's all. Mars is all cards. Priests has a board. Line Drive has tableaus, but it's a lot of cards. I don't know. Class Selection is all cards. PTQ has a board. Harbor Master has a board. What Team Are You On? That's all cards. Creep Spread, that's what we're doing right now. Bounty Hunters, that's been blown up. We're going to do a different video on that. But back to Creep Spread. So maybe we don't need a board for board, we're going to call this low priority. Okay. What else do we need? Actually, let's get specific on the cards. We need actions for these cards. I think, okay. Now, so here's the thing. I'm working on this to-do list, and I'm thinking actions, what else are the cards going to do? And we haven't even thought of what actions there are in the game. So we've just defined the two important parts of the game from a design aspect. We've talked about the theme. Now, how about we do something crazy, like actually talk about the game? And in my notes here, you can see I said work on parts that come to me. I mentioned this briefly in the last video, but this is a great example of I still don't know where I'm diving into this game, and I just have to pick parts that I know need working on, and hopefully they'll come to me until I feel like I've run out of creative juice on that particular part, or I feel like in this case I really do need to work on the actual game itself. So that's what we're going to do. What is actually happening in the game? I mean, do we really want to do war? War is such an easy theme to design with because it's easy to pit people against each other. What I don't like about war is, just me personally, I'm not a fan of war. Not that I know it. I don't think anybody is a fan of war, but it's just not a subject matter that really appeals to me on a personal or design level. So I'm always reluctant to travel this road just because there has to be a better theme to do. Okay, so we could say building, but then it turns into a civ builder. But it's a little different civ builder. I don't know. Let's explore that. Civ builder on a new planet. Maybe expansions to the game. Maybe expansions to the game can act as you can play characters. Like maybe you can actually take control of the one of the sides. So now, actually, if we do a civ builder, this means we can do. Hold on. Let's get our thoughts in order here. Maybe expansions players can control. Race A or B, and we're gonna stick with two races for now. And actually, the other thing I was gonna say is that if this isn't a war game, if not a war theme, we don't need to have different races. Okay, so the theme is going to be oh, so if the players in the game are a native race, okay. So as players are the native race, the new races show up to build their civilizations. It's a tug of war between allowing them to expand versus helping them. The native race, which the players are playing, is they're not as technologically advanced, and they're going to try, and part of their goal is to learn things from the new races that are on their planet. That's what we're going to go with. Eventually, I'm going to learn how to type and think at the same time, and you won't have to watch me do this whole process twice. Okay. Players are are less advanced. Race. They are trying to help the new races get established on their planet. They want, as they help, as they, there we go again. It's actually defined. As players define, help, they gain knowledge and actions. As players help races, they gain knowledge and actions, and maybe they become aware of the other, of race A and B expanding. I don't know. Sounded better when I said it out loud. We're still going to stick with it, but I don't think I wrote the note as well as I spoke the initial thought. Anyway, okay, so then do we want to go with some traditional traditional Civ builder? Have I played enough of those? I've played a few of them. This is where my library of games played can sometimes help or hurt. I'd have to go back, and part of my philosophy is when I was early on designing and I hadn't played a lot of games, it was nice because I don't feel like my designs were influenced all that much. And now that I feel like I haven't been able to define my style of design, but at least I have a way of working and a way I draw inspiration, and so I feel comfortable that that's mine. That's the thing I do. Now as I play more and more games, there are bits and pieces that I can take out and play with those bits and pieces. Tools, let's call them tools. So I pull out tools from other games that I played. So in this case, I'm looking at the Civ Builder. So what Civ builders have I played? I haven't played many of them. The reason being I don't lean towards the longer, more involved games. Not that I don't like playing them, it's just that the flow of play is too slow for me, so I don't get around to playing them often. In this case, I should probably look at should watch a few YouTube videos off screen and get a good sense of what's going on. So this is actually going to be a good place to put in a cut since I have to gain some knowledge. So we're just going to say, do I need to write any more notes? Civ builders on a planet. The players are a third party, and they're helping out race A or B. I feel like that's a good strong. Okay, we're gonna put a cut here, and we will come back. I don't know what we'll jump into next time, but yeah, this is where we'll put a cut. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.